Good morning once again and welcome to EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Today, the 25th day of October 2024. Today is a Friday and the time is a minute past the hour of 7. It's time for newspaper headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. This morning we are going to take you through the news making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers, but before we do that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us. You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on Airborne at the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news making the headlines on The Guardian, Leadership, Vanguard, Punch, Daily Post, The Nation. This day, and if time permits, we're also going to take a look at the Nigerian Tribune newspapers. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 6579 I am Martin. Let's get started with the Guardian newspaper this morning. 3 dead, 5 missing as helicopter crashes in rivers. Calls for military intervention, misery, harsh policies driving Nigerians to desperate choices. Cabinet reshuffle. Tinubu orders cost-cutting measures as Senate begins screening on Tuesday. Lagos, Ogun urge residents of low-lying areas to relocate over water release from Oyan Dam. Expert urges the federal government to tackle oil theft with technology. Federal government begins a reform of obsolete laws. No deadline on old Naira notes, says CBN on reps pushes for new notes. TCN commences a repair of faulty transmission line, serving North. Minister canvasses resilient health systems to check global warming. Odigi Oyegun laments pervasive poverty amid vast resources. Nigeria loses $1.5 billion due to livestock sector neglect. Tinubu laments. Stakeholders lament energy crisis plaguing tertiary institutions. Kogi orders boreholes relieve materials for internally displaced persons. Nigeria lobbies as Kiyamo leads a delegation to Global Meteorological Conference. Commission to distribute starter packs to 5,000 trainees. 59 years after construction, Cocoa House gets facelift. Okorie, the Patriots, others, mourn June 12 election umpire. Nwosu, US grateful as ailing Binance chief departs Nigeria after 8 months. Hardship, NMPP chieftain urges Nigerians to embrace famine. 2024 OTL Africa Summit to address key industry challenges. A solo market dispute resolved as traders leaders embrace peace. We live as a pedestrian bridge collapses at a five-star bus stop in Lagos without casualties. Information democratization, widening fake news, says experts. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Guardian newspaper this morning. United Nations observes day, demands equality for men, women. LCDAs won't be scrapped, Lagos Assembly assures. Kogi 613% derivatives as Lobobri moves $25 billion oil revenue. Man pours hot water on stylist face in Port Harcourt. Family demands justice. Nasarawa begins harvest of 10,000 hectares rice farm. Surulere Council to host inaugural Lere Day celebration. Olufumilayo Latunji dies at 83. Lead credit revolution. Institute tell president, governors. My G glows youth-centric offer. Aside student leaders. Court remands 2 men over alleged child rape, sexual assault. Troops arrest IPOB founder, commander, kill 140 terrorists. 130 non-governmental organizations right Tinubu insists Ishekiri most marginalized oil-producing community. 5 arrested as vigilantes alleged beat man to death in Para. 5 arrested as vigilantes allegedly beat man to death in Para. Man arrested in Ogun for alleged defilement of 12-year-old girl. Adultery. Complainant alleges interference by Jigawa Kanu government. Rotary Club organizes free breast cancer screening for women in Lagos. Nigeria, 12 others join BRICS as partner countries. Customs seizes 71 million naira smuggled goods in Adamawa, Taraba. Lawmaker partners United Nations NILDS to tackle challenges in Lagos community. Amnesty warns the federal government against human rights abuses in Niger Delta. Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps arrests 9 for vandalism, recovers cable, others. Ekiti ban night grazing, warns herdsmen against sabotaging agri investments. Ogun cleric arrested for defiling 12-year-old girl. Mba approves 80,000 naira minimum wage for Enugu workers. Lagos local government distributes 20 million naira to 2,000 Ebe residents. INEC to hold mock accreditation for Ondo governorship poll November 6th. Commuters escape death as five-star pedestrian bridge collapses in Lagos. ARDA 6 increased LPG adoption to address clean cooking crisis. 17.5 million Nigerian children are orphaned. SOS Children Village. 11 internet fraudsters in police net in Jos. Gombe, Taraba urged to meet obligations for UNICEF Gavi agreement. Lagos communities struggle as Oyan Dam releases water. Lagos Ogun urges residents in low-lying, flood-prone areas to relocate. Art Gallery moves to certify visual artists in Nigeria. Ason Rivers probe panel vows findings won't be ignored. Ason Rivers probe panel vows findings won't be ignored. Police investigate viral video, voice notes threatening violence in Anambra. Nigeria Security Civil Defense Corps decorates 76 newly promoted officers. Lagos could be submerged by rising water, Deputy Governor warns. Murder of 11 men at Anambra's Nibo, unacceptable, says Moalo. Experts advocates informal markets to curb street hawking in Abuja. Kebi, Akwa Ibom, okay, 75,000 naira, 80,000 naira minimum pay for workers. Conscious optimism over Tinubu's reshuffled cabinet changes. Federal government receives 350,000 applications, disburses 10 billion naira in student loan. NUC, NCDMB, others move to commercialize research and capital flight. Diphtheria killed 1,191 persons in 17 months, says Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Abuja motorists suffer long queues despite soaring petrol price. Obaseki to present handover notes to Governor-elect Obeburu. Ondo Assembly passes 96 billion naira 2024 supplementary budget. Rivers Police investigate disappearance of NYSC member in Ikuru town. Federal government withdraws suit against a Binance employee. That's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper this morning. From the Guardian newspaper, we'll flip over to leadership newspaper. Polio. Nigeria records 83 cases of circulating variants in 14 states. NPHCDA. Sorty vibes. Partners CJID on climate change. Neglected diseases. Coalition extends financial support for Nigeria to 2030. Climate change. Nigeria must localize solutions. Federal government. $1.5 billion dairy import. Tinubu begins livestock reforms. Rallies governors' support. Federal government stakeholders call for concerted efforts to eradicate poverty. Federal government inaugurates committee to review archaic laws. ECOWAS, Action Aid, others partner on food security. Non-governmental organizations unveils a market model to empower urban women in FCT. Federal government stakeholders call for, we've taken this. Still on the stories making the headlines on the leadership newspaper this morning. Polio, 70 million children vaccinated in Lake Chad region. World Health Organization, MBA, holds a validatory session in honor of senior lawyer Yunus Ustas. OFO advocates concerted efforts to tackle polio. Plan International renovates 15 PHCs in Sokoto. Great ideas for home appliances business. Nigeria, 3 stories, 1 message. Muhammad Fetullah Golen, 27 April 1941 to 20th October 2024. The menace of casual labor policy. Foundation donates learning materials to the blind. Federal government flags off construction of 1,068-kilometer Sokoto Badagry Superhighway. Federal government commissions NHYPPADEC 2 billion naira Yauri water scheme project. Still on the stories making the headlines on the leadership newspaper this morning. Nigeria, 12 others join BRICS as partner countries. Bosch system boosts cybersecurity awareness within next generation solution. Bosch systems boost cybersecurity awareness with next generation solution. 5 most lucrative businesses in Nigeria for 2024. How to become a millionaire in betting in the 2024-2025 football season. Okonjo-Iweala disowns separatist EPA over fake World Bank IMF loan for Biafra. Vice President Chetima cancels CHOGM trip to Samoa after aircraft damage in US. Tinubu condoles NMPCL over helicopter crash, directs expanded search mission. CBN counters House of Reps, says no deadline on old Naira notes. Cuba seeks more support from Nigeria, others to counter US blockade. NSIB launches investigation into Rivers helicopter crash. Tinubu slashes convoy security details for ministers, government officials. Para government to screen 196,913 for non-communicable diseases. Para ex-rep member Aman Pategi dies at 59. Governor Mba trails workers with 80,000 naira minimum wage in Enugu. Neglected livestock sector deprived Nigeria $1.5 billion in dairy imports. Tinubu, that's the mush. we can take from the leadership newspaper this morning. You are listening to newspaper headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 From the leadership newspaper, we'll flip over to Vanguard newspaper. Defense headquarters, arms found with terrorists stolen during ambushes on security forces. Governance cost, Tinubu orders caught in ministers' convoys. 8. Foreign object hits, damages Chetima's plane at JFK Airport, New York. Naira depreciates to 1,739 naira per dollar in parallel market. Governance cost, we've taken this. Reps CBN disagree over validity of old naira notes. Reps CBN disagree over validity of old naira notes. All 8 passengers in Bonny Shopper disaster feared dead, police. Ondo 2024, INEC physics mock accreditation for November 6th. Cabinet reshuffle, scrapping superfluous ministries. Commendable, Okupe. Cabinet reshuffle, scrapping superfluous ministries. Commendable, Okupe. Obasanjo, Danjuma decried the dwindling quality of leadership in Nigeria. APC will take over Rivers, Ganduje declares. Ex-NEC chairman, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, who conducted June 12 election, dies in U.S. hospital. Canada to reduce immigration by 21% in 2025. SDP's Adebayo, false regional government, condemns Nigeria's transactional politics. Tinubu 6 Senate confirmation of Bianca Ojukwu, 6 new ministerial nominees. Pedestrian bridge collapses in Lagos. 5 arrested over alleged murder of Uni Ilorin graduate in Kwara when Ibadan Obas Bales protested against land grabbers. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Federal Executive Council okays 443.3 million euros, $141 million facility from financiers to procure 6 fighter aircraft. Sit at home. Governor Mba threatens to sanction teachers, bankers, traders. Nigeria's external reserve hits $40.2 billion, CBN. 67% households use firewood for cooking, MBS. That's the much we can take from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to from the Vanguard newspaper, we'll flip over to the Punch newspaper. Beg your pardon. On the Punch newspaper, we have Binance executive Gambarian departs Nigeria after 8 months detention. Non-governmental organizations laws Benue governor for disowning anti-EFCC suit. Tinubu pledges livestock farming revamp amid $1.5 billion dairy imports. Tropical storm leaves 24 dead in Philippines flooding. Customs seizes 71.7 million naira smuggled items in Adamawa, Taraba. Defense Minister orders capture of bandit kingpin, Tuji. Nigerian laws obsolete. Last updated in 2004, AGF. Nigerian laws obsolete. Last updated in 2004, AGF. Lagos warns against a building conversion for commercial use. Ekiti bans underage heading, night grazing. Federal government charges 9 over Akpabio's impeachment rumor. Federal government charges 9 over Akpabio's impeachment rumor. Look, Lagos state government empowers 100 women with skills, equipment. Libya, Sahel conflict fuel Nigeria's arms proliferation, defense headquarters. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning, Senate okays 15% state funding for regional development commissions. Ondo, APC, PDP ready for November 6th mock accreditation. Demand fairness. Obi visits Jigawa fire victims, seeks welfare of vulnerable persons. Ekiti community seeks 500 million naira to enhance infrastructure. Nigeria officially joins BRICS as partner country. Government plans a solar street light for rural communities. Tinubu seeks Senate's confirmation of ministerial nominees. World Health Organization, UNICEF, warned Nigeria as polio virus cases hit 83. Broken aircraft windscreen aborts Shetima's Samoa trip. Ondo people should query Ayedatiwa's manifesto. NMPP candidate. No going back on free education in Taraba. Kefas, Gombe, Bauchi dams safe, Delta viable, federal government. I will prioritize healthcare infrastructure if elected. Ayedatiwa. African Development Bank seeks Bauchi's support on service delivery, empowerment. Joint health sector unions and assemblies of healthcare professionals insist on strike, mobilizes members. Soludo, Ohaneze, mourn as Nwosu, ex-NEC chairman, dies at 83. Military, NEMA, Kumb C for crashed helicopters passengers. NRC advocates women's rights to property, 6 farm seats. MBTE accreditation team hails FCMLT provost for colleges greater heights. Adamawa Customs sees 71 million naira petrol. Others. That's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. From the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to the Daily Post newspaper. Flood submerges communities, threatens others in Delta. Anambra, criminals, dear Soludo, take crime to governor's doorstep. Pharmacy Council emphasizes importance of supply chain. Alleged constitutional violation, activist threatens to drag Soludo to court. Senators divided over source of funding for zonal development commissions. Biafra, Simon Ekpa issues 72-hour ultimatum over Nnamdi Kanu. Others. Hardship, what Nigerian government must do to boost economy. Experts, Ogun to begin 7-day free screening for diabetes, hypertension, October 28. Reps reject Sharia law bill. Gambarian was resilient, buying as a react to Nigeria's government's decision. EPA replies Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala over $57.5 billion World Bank loan claim. Defense Minister Badaru orders troops to arrest Bello Tuji. That's the much we can take from the Daily Post newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the Daily Post newspaper, we'll flip over to the Nation newspaper. Role of metrology in nation building by Kiyamo. Alleged 110.4 billion naira fraud. Court schedules November 14 for Yahaya Bello's appearance. First Lady reps lift Jigawa tanker fire victims with 140 million naira. 46 wise men to rework federal government's laws. APC youths hail Tinubu on cabinet regime choice. FEM assures shareholders of growth. African governments urged to prioritize public water management. Police adversary. Five-star pedestrian bridge collapses in Lagos. Government's cost-saving plan limits ministers' convoy security. Get me bandits boss, Tuji, Defense Minister Badaru orders troops. IMF projects a reduction in Nigeria's debt to GDP ratio. 6 NMPCL officials aboard chopper that crashed into ocean. Shetima's Samoa trip cancelled after damage to plane. Senate passes South-South Development Commission bill. Governors ranching best bet to end header farmer clashes. Governors ranching best bet to end header farmers clashes. How terrorists get ammunition by defense headquarters. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Senate decries a recalling flood disaster along River Niger Channel. Orders. Economy in ICU before Tinubu's emergence. Ex-rep. Canada to tighten rules on hiring temporary foreign workers. Troops arrest 135 terrorists, rescue 76 kidnapped victims. Federal government confirms helicopter crash in Rivers. Mba approves 80,000 naira minimum wage for Enugu workers. APC will take over Rivers completely. Ganduje boost. National Union of Road Transport Workers vows to sack Adeleke in 2026. 3 bodies are recovered as helicopter crashes into Port Harcourt. 3 bodies are recovered as helicopter crashes in Port Harcourt. NAPTIP rescues 6-year-old girl, arrests 2 suspects in Akwa Ibom. Tinubu vows to boost livestock sector. Court remands man for allegedly defiling teenager. Ochime mixes out as Lukman Ekong make CAF Player of the Year short list. NSIB probes deploys team as helicopter crashes in Port Harcourt. Reps donate 100 million naira to victims of Jigawa tanker explosion. First Lady donates 40 million naira food items to Jigawa tanker explosion victims. And that's the most we can take from the Nation newspaper this morning. You are listening to newspaper headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. When I go for a short break, when we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us.
EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Nabakowa production. My business. When I was telling you, AGJ radio drama, Erico. Akụkọ ihe mere iwe AGJ radio drama Erico ga na-abịara gị every Monday 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday 3 o'clock p.m. na EBEONADI 103.5 FM.
If you move, I finish your business. Yeah. Amara mi rewa di amo. Roba kuna gano film na no ako na ne ri ko na ye. Nke ka ku ke mo na ala ma usu na ya ma ole si.
Ekwana ka call dị nke a call
Oke o si mee, ọ gịnị na-afịọ? Nwanụ m okwu ka nọrọ na ntị. Ọkwa anụta akara eze, bịa bụ na eze na-achị. Oke ka o si mee bụ mgbe anyị ji abụ ụlọ nke na-eme eme, nke na-apịa ụzọ, nke na-arụ ọnụ n'ime ndụ anyị na ezinụlọ anyị na mpaghara mba ụwa, maka na ihe ọbụla na-emenụ na-eme ka mmadụ wee mụta ihe, maka na Igbo tụrụ ilu wee sị n'ebe a na-adụ nwa nwere nne na nna ọdụ ka nke na-enwere nne na nna na-anọ amụta ife. Sonyere tii n'oge ka o si mee na 103.5 kwa ụbọchị Mọnde, Wenesde, Fraịde, ngwa ngwa ọkụ elekere 10 nke ụtụtụ ka ngwa gị ka o si wee mee ka ị gwa m ebumnobi gị. Ị ga-amụta ọtụtụ ihe ga-eme ka ị ghara ịgafe ụzọ ebe ndị ọzọ gafere. Igbo kacha anọ
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on EBEONADI FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Government.
Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street report is here with hardcore journalists to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanishu, yes, number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on EBEONADI 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your phone. Name as an EBEONADI corner 24/7.
I know sometimes it feel like say nobody can do that when I did for you, my friend.
nwanne nke nke mere ama na-arụ ote ama na ụfọdụ oge ọ na-adị gị ka echezọrọ gị na m echefuola gị mba na nke afọ gbasị onye ka m ji zitere gị akwụkwọ ozi ekene anụnwa site n'aka ndị 103.5 FM. Oge ozi ekene bụ oge nnekwu ohere ejirịta ọra ma nwelekwa anwụ isonyere tii n'oge ozi ekene kwa ụbọchị Sọnde ọbụla ngwa ngwa ọkụ elekere 4 nke mgbede. Ị ga-enwetakwa anya bụ akwụkwọ ozi ekene nke bụ request kaadị n'isi ụlọ ọrụ anyị dị na Ufi Residency Hotel na ncherịta ihu Cape City Secondary School ka anyị tụrịta ọra.
How do you do, my
Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at EBEONADI 103.5 FM. It's Martin Ifanishu is here every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on political process. Views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to EBEONADI 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date. You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080 65 79 6599. We are on to this day newspaper. Naira Shetima cancels CHOGM trip as plane's windshield is damaged at JFK Airport in New York. Central Bank of Nigeria, no retirement date banknotes remain legal tender indefinitely. Senate to screen confirm Tinubu's 7 ministerial nominees next week. Still on the stories making the headlines on this day newspaper. Senate to screen confirm Tinubu's 7 ministerial nominees next week. Human Rights Writers Association laws efforts against crude oil theft calls for accountability. House committee gives a 5-day ultimatum to Works Permanent Secretary over non-executed 1.4 billion naira contract. Wale Edun, World Bank support critical Wallow Edun, World Bank support critical for empowering Nigerian women-led businesses. Federal government calls for local solutions to curb climate impact on health. Shell divestment. Amnesty warns against worsening human rights abuses in Niger Delta. Shell divestment. Amnesty warns against worsening human rights abuses in Niger Delta. NMPCL, we hired helicopter that crashed with 8 persons on board. Still on the stories making the headlines on this day newspaper this morning. To avert plane crash, federal government may shut down Enugu Airport over deteriorating runway. Sanwo-Olu emphasizes increased credit as catalyst for sustainability. Golden Tara Oil's campaign wins a Marketing Excellence Award. Microsoft, rising threats in cyberspace evolution of artificial intelligence will demand strategic approach. Access Bank launches initiative to boost female entrepreneurship across 16 countries. Air Peace holds football tournament tagged October 1st. Caveton Group records a 9% revenue growth in FY 2023. The two partners federal government Well-Being Foundation Africa to promote hand hygiene. NAMA engages in training technical tests of personnel. Aliyu Adesina has a potential to lead Nigeria. A work template for Minister of Livestock Development. EFCC, there is no right way of doing a bad thing. Now that Mr. President is back. Akwa Ibom, Eno, Akpabio, an emerging political alliance. The peaceful local government poll on the plateau. Matawale is Lawal governing or gaming Zamfara. Oyebanji inaugurates Ikole Township Road, electricity projects. Akin Solutu, Ayadatiwa's scorecard will earn him re-election in Ondo. The shift of fossil fuel dominance pays. That's the much we can take from this day newspaper this morning. From this day newspaper, we'll flip over to Nigerian Tribune. Cost of governance. Tinubu limits ministers' convoy to 3 vehicles. CBN strengthens diaspora ties to boost Nigeria's economic growth. FGM. Strong laws, weak enforcement. State of the state address to mark the 2nd anniversary of Oyebanji administration. Abuja school sensitizes students to importance of oral hygiene. League of Imams and Alphas in Yoruba land urged to address contentious issues. Makinde restates commitment to religious equity as YOUMBAS celebrates 50th anniversary. Musawan supports Borno flood victims with 50 million naira, visits Zulum, Shehu of Borno. PDP won't allow one party state, governors forum, cabinets shake-up. Nigeria's feedback influence Tinubu's action. Presidency. The ground rent collection conundrum in Oyo State. Celebrating Dr. Shetima and 30 years of MacArthur Foundation in Nigeria, land administration, and Nigeria's development, exploiting the advantages from the shift of fossil fuel dominance, Jigawa petrol tanker disaster, the teary aftermath. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Of course, we have alternative if you shut down. Nexins tells MTN Nigeria. Adelabu, Keyamo, Wike, 28 others who retained portfolios as Tinubu rejigs cabinet. Reps bill seeking creation of Ibadan state. One order from Old Oyo passes second reading. MPOS vaccine. Federal government to prioritize health workers' immediate contact. World Health Organization reports 96% drop in polio cases. Bauchi Rotary Club reiterates commitment to fight child killer diseases. Improved PHC's foundation to tackle climate, health crisis, federal government, insecurity, limited healthcare access, full polio spread in affected regions, UNICEF. That's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning, and that will also mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of newspaper headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-6579-6599. Now we flip over to our SMS portal. On our SMS portal this morning, we have this message. It's coming from Ogochukwu Ifechukwu, and she says, "We have many farmers in Nigeria, but there is no security to protect them. The wicked man that poured hot water on the face of a human being must suffer for it." Ogochukwu Ifechukwu, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have another message. This one is coming from Akidiamoke Onye Nabana Omonachi, and he says new minimum wage increase to 80,000 naira by some states is welcome development. Akidi Amoke Onye Nabana, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Also on our SMS portal, we have this message that says, as cut in cost of governance is to be in place, so also is the need for the refineries to be in place to help alleviate the suffering of the masses. Godwin Anyebunam from Umumbo, Ayamelum local government area of Anambra State. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. From our SMS portal, we'll flip over to our WhatsApp portal. We have this message that this one is coming from Chinedu Oneka, pastor, and he says Anambra State government should intensify security in and around the state capital, because if all these crimes can happen in Oka, it simply means that the citizens in the remote villages are on their own. And as a matter of fact, the recent ones happened near the governor's lodge. I urge our security agencies to wake up and do the needful. I want to use this medium to beg all the people bearing arms to think and drop their weapons and embrace peace and dialogue. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, uh, Chinedu Oneka, pastor. We also have this message. This one is coming from Maluto Patrick from Monteje. And he says, I'm neither a student of the advocacy of military intervention nor a supporter of bad civilian regime, but I always believe that the truth must be told at any point in time without minding whose ox is God. The point remains that someone may succeed in deceiving people once, but he cannot succeed in deceiving the same people always. The point I want to make is that the Nigerian leaders have deceived Nigerians once, and we are still making concerted effort to continue to continue to deceive. Okay, and are still making concerted effort to continue to deceive the entire populace again and again. There is this age-long adage that says if someone is pushed to the wall, he has no option than to react. Nigerians have been pushed to the wall by the politicians and our leaders, and as a result, okay, we're still trying to get all of that due to network issue, but he says as a result, um, and he says, if someone is pushed to the wall, he has no option than to react. Nigeria have been pushed to the wall by the politicians and our leaders. And as a result of that, if someone or group of people calls for a military intervention, I don't think the person will be blamed enough. Blamed. Enough is enough. Okay. This is coming from Waloto Patrick from Nteje. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Waloto Patrick. Also on our WhatsApp portal, we have this message. This one is coming from Agonabo. He's joining us from Ofa Aguluzibo, and he says, "Livestock saga, much must it be on every state?" My question is, what is the federal government doing about it? And he says, let them select few states to start doing the business. Terrorist saga killing of the terrorists. Okay, killing of the terrorists in Nigeria is a welcome development, but holding an IPOB man unfair. He says because they don't have any arm, but only demanding equal rights and justice system in Nigeria. Concerned, concerning the helicopter crash, he says it's a bad omen and need investigation. And concerning EBA's demand for the release of Mazen and the Canon, it is a welcome addition to the struggle of the state. And he says because it is long overdue, and let the federal government release him for peace to be in Southeast at large. We are watching as things unfold. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Agonabo. Still on our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have this message. It's coming from Comrade Ibudu from Abagana, and it says increase in minimum wage from some states is a welcome development. I can't wait for Nigeria to change for better. Dollar was 100 naira when I was much younger, but things are getting harder as I grow. Please, if it is possible, we can get back to our old doings. Let's go back. May God help us. A man pouring hot water on somebody is a very heartless, and he should face the law. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Comrade Ibudu from Abagana. With that message from Comrade Ibudu from Abagana, this is the spot where we'll call it a day on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning. Once it's 7 o'clock, so keep a date. And don't touch the dial of EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Once it's 8:20 this morning, we'll be back with Birthday Splash. Till we meet again, I remain Martin. Have a wonderful morning.
Mgbe maka disco ya na-agba egwu data yiri nsogbu
EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Napapoa production. My business. When I was telling you, AGJ radio drama, Erico. Akụkọ ihe AGJ radio drama Erico ga na-abịara gị every Monday 8 o'clock p.m. with a broadcast on Saturday 3 o'clock p.m. na EBEONADI 103.5 FM. If you move by finish your business,
amara m ile nwa dị ahụ ụbọchị m na-aga n'obodo m na-anụ akọ na ya na-erikọ n'anya nke kachasị nke bụ na ana m ahụzikwu n'anya ma ọ bụla eziokwu
ekwekwala ka akọlụ gị nke a akọlụ.
Oke o si mee, ọ gịnị na-afụ? Gwanụ m okwu ka nọrọ na ntị. Ọkwa anụ taa ka ara eze, bịa bụ na eze na-achị. Oke ka o si mee bụ mgbe anyị ji ahụ ụlọ nke na-eme eme, nke na-apịa ụzọ, nke na-arụ ọnụ n'ime ndụ anyị na ezinụlọ anyị na mpaghara mba ụwa, maka na ihe ọbụla na-emenụ na-eme ka mmadụ wee mụta ihe, maka na Igbo tụrụ ilu wee sị n'ebe a na-adụ nwa nwere nne na nna ọdụ ka nke na-enwere nne na nna na-anọ amụta ife. Sonyere somtii n'oge ka o si mee na 103.5 kwa ụbọchị Mọnde, Wenesde, Fraịde, ngwa ngwa ọkụ elekere 10 nke ụtụtụ ka m gwa gị ka o si wee mee ka ị gwa m ebumnobi gị. Ị ga-amụta ọtụtụ ihe ga-eme ka ị ghara ịgafe ụzọ ebe ndị ọzọ gafere. Igbo kacha anọ
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street reports. If we do not address these challenges on EBEONADI FM, who will, as the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Our government,
Whatever Street Report is here to make sense of it all. Street Report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street Report is here with hardcore journalists to get to the root of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanishu, as our number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on EBEONADI 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On Martin EBEONADI 24/7, 24/7.
I know sometimes it feel like say nobody can do that when I like I just want you, my friend.
Okay, guys, thank you. Like, subscribe, and share. Right, hit the subscribe button right here. You rock. Dialogue.